I want to first just introduce Matt Dawson. Matt and I have known each other for a good few years. Basically met through good connections and networking a while back. And he's been a really good friend of our school and just coming to our portfolio review last year. And a lot of our alumni have been in touch with him since then. But I really am thankful. Thanks again so much, Matt, for coming on board with this. This is awesome, spending the time with everybody during this time. Can't thank you enough, man. Thanks again.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. It's
dude.
This is really weird that we're having a class like this, but it's kind of awesome, and I'm really excited that it's Nick's class. Yeah, like Nick said, we've known each other for a few years now. I think we met at Adobe Max back in like 2017 or something.
Yeah, that's right, man. San Diego.
Was it
San Diego or LA? Oh, Vegas.
I think it was Vegas. Yeah.
How could I forget? Yeah.
Maybe that's why you forgot.
That's probably
why it was in Vegas.
Yeah, exactly.
No. And yeah, so Nick and I have been buds. I'm a huge fan of him personally. I'm a huge fan of his work, and getting to know him over the years, I'm a huge fan and very envious of his teaching style. I got to come out to California last May and do the portfolio review, and I'm just telling you guys, like, what y'all have at CSUN and with Nick is awesome. It seems like such a great program. I wish I would have had that whenever I was young, and in design school. So it's really cool that y'all get to do the projects that you do and that you're doing cool stuff like this. And yeah, so you guys are lucky.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it. Yeah. But we can't do it without the help of you guys, you know. So you coming on board, especially during this time, I just want to give the students a chance to meet more people, network as much as possible. This is a great opportunity for it. So go with it, man. You're on.
Yeah. Cool. Well, if at any given point, guys, you have any questions, feel free to unmute and pop in and ask me something.
Perfect.
This is going to be super informal. So we're just kind of gonna talk a little bit about myself, not too much because I'm not that kind of guy. But, a little bit about me. I'm going to show you some of my work, and then like we'll dip into a couple of projects. But yeah, super long intro. I'm Matt Dawson. I'm a graphic designer, illustrator, conference producer, based out of Austin, Texas. I've been designing professionally for almost 14 years now. So I've been getting paid to do it for 14 years. So I feel like that's qualified enough to say professional. You know, I've kind of bounced all over the map design wise, and I feel like that's been really good for my growth as a designer, and carving the career path and helping me clarify where I want that career path to take me. You know, I've been in-house at places. I've worked at agencies. I've done the full-time freelance thing. I own part of an agency for a while, and I feel like for me, getting a good bird's eye view of all these different experiences kind of helped guide me to ultimately where I want to be. I don't think there's any right answer at any given point in your life, really, but much less coming out of school. You know, like, I'm sure it's a scary time for you guys, but you know, rest assured that there's no right answer at any time. It's just what the universe provides at any given time, and that's where you're supposed to be. Don't pay attention to where this person is or that person is in their career, because that's an entirely different book. Your book is what you need to focus on, and hopefully you guys are crafting a pretty killer start to that book upon graduating. So yeah, take it from me, somebody that's been in it for a long time. It doesn't matter where you've been. This is a really cool evolving career. It's not like accounting. No offense if anybody was like loves accounting, or if your mom or dad's like an accountant or anything, but you know, like numbers stay the same. What we do is ever changing, and like that's something that's really beautiful about the creative field that we're in. So
totally.
I feel really fortunate to have this job, and also I suck at math, so accounting would not be very good anyway.
Probably the one thing we all have in common.
Yeah. So, all right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share my screen with you guys. I'm gonna share. Let me know if everybody can see.
There we go.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I'm just gonna go through a little bit of my portfolio. So online, I call myself Stay Great Pony Boy, and I guess we can touch more on that when we talk about the personal branding. But
yeah,
this is my website. After years and years of not having one, I finally went through and I was like, you know what, I've got to get my shit together, and I've got to put out a website. Like people kept asking me for business cards, kept asking me for a website, and I felt really unprofessional because I had neither. I'd just be like, go to Instagram or go to Dribble, and so I wanted to feel like a legitimate designer. So I went in and redid my website. What I primarily focus on in design is branding and identity. Somewhere along the lines, I became the logo guy, which isn't a bad thing. I enjoy being the logo guy. But it's not really where I thought my career would take me. If you would have asked me whenever I graduated from design school, like what I would be doing, I thought whatever young designer that loves music would think, and I was like, oh, I'm going to be doing album art and this and that, and tour posters and festival graphics. And while I've gotten to do a little bit of that, that's not really where my path led me. Somewhere along the lines, whenever I started becoming really focused on design after having all those experiences, I started finding out the things that I didn't like and gravitating towards the things that I do like. And that led me to branding and identity. So becoming that logo guy has actually been a real blessing, to sound super Southern, and I am from the South, but it's been a real blessing to me to become that logo guy. And that's kind of where my path has led me. Whenever I decided to go out on my own, I knew it wasn't going to happen with little one-off projects here and there. So it was also kind of by design. I knew that I wanted to build things from the ground up. I wanted to help people visualize their dreams. Like, as cheesy as that sounds, I love creating something out of thin air. And I don't have a lot of big name clients, like I don't have any celebrity clients or anything like that, which is great. I feel like that's like a good source of like validation. If a celebrity were to like reach out to you, or some like just huge ass name, like that's really good validation, and that like you've done something good enough to gain their attention. But for me, it's more about like, I'm just as proud to help a startup build something brand new and really put them off on the right foot than I am to do Vin Diesel's new energy drink or some shit like that. Even though that would be cool. But like most of my projects are for smaller companies. There's a couple of cool things that happened getting to work for the Braves last year and this year, assuming that baseball season actually happens. That's been cool, but for the most part, I've been creating and crafting identities for people for the past 5 years consistently. Let me switch my screen real quick.
Yeah.
And
don't you find too that some of those, they might not be the name or the huge nationwide recognition thing, but the appreciation is greater when you're helping that person out that didn't think they could get maybe that good of branding for their company,
Yeah,
I always love it to think of it that way.
No, that's super rewarding too.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. It's I don't know. It's we're in a really awesome position to help people in a way that we don't have to break our backs to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're not out building the four walls of these businesses, but you know, like we're sitting comfortably in an office with big ass clocks,
Yeah.
and you know, creating things out of thin air for them. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to share an Illustrator screen with y'all, kind of chronicling my journey as the logo guy. Can you guys see this right here?
Yeah, we got it.
So this is like 2015. So some of these I'm really cringy about, but you know, like this was my year in 2015. Like I created a handful of identities, and I was like, oh man, that's really cool. You know, like some of them still exist. Some of them died on the vine. You know, like their businesses didn't really succeed, and that's really sad. And you know, we've drank a beer to that memory and whatnot, and we've moved on. But you know, it was really cool. That was my first year of really honing in on like the identity thing. And even though this is what 16 logos, I'm not that bad at math. 16 logos here. It seems small, but then you know, like I go to my 2016, and like that almost doubled. You know, so like 2016 was a little bit better of a year. You know, I had some more growth as far as you know, the kind of projects that I got to do, and people that had seen this logo the year before, and it grew exponentially, doubled, and then it really kind of took off after this year, after the 2016 year, because this was 2017, and you know, 2017 was like almost it was kind of a game changer for me. I feel like I worked more in that year than I have my entire life. And it was a result of like building something and not really having the expectation of like, I want to do this and I'm going to be awesome at it. I had to suck at it first. I had to have low output, and really kind of grind away in order to take those necessary steps to get even somewhere like this. And you know, like I'm proud of all of these. You know, like I don't know if there's any award winners in here, but it's a lot of work that I'm proud of that, you know, came off of the back of me doing hard work, you know, a couple of years before. And, you know, like this trend has continued. This was 17, this was 2018, you know. Again, just the grids are getting tighter. They're getting a little more dense with marks and badges and lockups. And, you know, this, like watching this growth made me realize that I had taken the right path.
Yeah.
You know, there were times throughout all of these projects that I was tired and that I was burned out, and that, you know, questioned whether or not what I was doing was the right thing. I had a lot of that like typical process where like you start a project and you don't know what the hell you're doing. And then like you get somewhere and you're like, oh, this is good. And the next thing you know, it's done. And you're like,
yeah,
it's like a fever dream. You're just like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
You know, so like none of these were necessarily like just super easy. Like they all came from blood, sweat, and tears. And then this is 2019. Now 2019 is a little less than, but I feel like 2019 is some of my better work overall.
You can really see like the refinements and stuff. You could see I've never seen a chronicle collection of people's work done quite like this, because it is neat to see that vibe. One question for you, what's the balance between fonts as is, fonts tweaked, and custom 100% typography?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Everything in between, probably?
Everything in between. Probably the most average of those answers would be customizing existing type. I try to not use anything that's, especially if it's going to be a display type. You know, if it's going to be a sub tag or a subtitle on a piece of identity, then I'm okay with that being just like straight up typeface. But for the most part, I like to try to customize. Existing ones, and then go in and create completely custom pieces like this Atlanta. You know, that doesn't exist. Like that's just shapes that I did on a plane because I hate flying, and it helps me to get into my computer and do something that like breaks my brain for a
Same.
minute.
Cool.
But yeah, I love customizing type and building my own whenever I can. But like this wasn't as much work as 2018, but like Nick said, there was a refinement there. So like going through like these past few those past few years, not only has like the quantity built up, that's great, but what I'm more proud of and focused on is that the quality went up too.
Yeah.
Like anybody can churn out passable logos and keep it going, but if you're not pushing yourself and watching your work get better, and I'm sure you guys can look back at like your first year in design school, like I'm sure you've seen like this progress of like where you were and where you are now, being close to graduating seniors. So being able to watch your work grow in quality is super rewarding, because a lot of times like it takes looking at things like this and this Illustrator view where it's like all these things crammed into one, to kind of see that like, oh man, you know what, I've gotten better. Like
Yeah.
I'm not just doing the same thing after 14 years.
There might just be a future in this business for me.
Yeah, there might be. And yeah, like along the way, I this again sounds cheesy, but like I try to live and breathe design as much as possible. Like there's rarely a time, and can you guys see my screen right now?
Yep, you're on it.
There's rarely any time that like we're watching a movie or a TV show at home and I don't have like my laptop or my iPad in my lap.
Yeah.
It's just become an extension of me. So even if it's not always a project for a client, it's some dumb exercise that pops into my head, talking about how the world shut down because of quarantine.
Yeah.
Like these little, these little passion projects. One, like it's just kind of like, it's how I enjoy spending my time. But two, it's sharpening my skills, so to speak. By like not shutting off my brain. Like design doesn't have to end at 5. Like you can keep, you can keep going and make shit till you make it, which is kind of a silly statement, but it's one that I really do live by, and that if you continue making things, somebody's going to take notice, somebody's going to take stock. Like you might get a job from it, you might get a new friend, you might get a new contact from it, and like that's one of the big things that I've learned in designing, is that it doesn't always have to be a project. It doesn't always have to be for some kind of like big end goal. It can just be for fun.
And I know you enjoy that stuff. Did you ever find that you had to push yourself to kind of do call it like fun side projects, like you were just saying? Like, did that come natural at first, or did you have to kind of make a practice out of that?
Honestly, I had to push myself to do it. I was really resistant. It's funny to say it now because it's such an ingrained part of like my life and like our lives in general, but like I was really resistant to social media at first. I was like, man, I'm never going to get on there. I'm not, nobody wants to see this. Nobody wants to see that. And then, I stayed in my old man mode for a minute, and then finally started being like, okay, well, maybe I'll check out Instagram. Like Instagram seems less toxic and ridiculous than Facebook. It's just pictures and comments and none of the BS that comes with some of the other platforms. So I was like, okay, cool, Instagram. And I'm like, well, I don't have a ton of work. I didn't want to show what I was doing at my day job at the time. So I was like, okay, I've got to give myself things to post, like I don't want to have this feed that just lays dormant. So like that was really kind of like the impetus for me starting to push for like content, to put out content and to like slowly, like I started, once I started getting the type of work that I wanted to show and that I was proud to show, I was able to start weaving that in there. And now it's probably like a 80-20 mix of like 80% work, 20% like side projects or like, just boredom things. So I had to push myself a little bit. Um,
One thing I was going to ask you too, because I know you'd brought up the idea of your name being something different than what you put out there as your given name, and the Stay Gray Pony Boy. And one thing I was really hoping we could talk a lot about too was this idea of, like, personal branding and everything around it. Most of the
yeah,
students are kind of in a zone of, like, and picking that logo, picking that thing that's going to represent them in their first kind of take of going out there and looking for a job, or even if it's just something that's on their resume and their business cards. And I'm just curious what kind of things you have, and why you, like, if you could talk about choosing the name over using your actual name, and then also some kind of insight on what you would love to see a young designer have in their personal branding.
yeah. So personal branding is tricky, and I'm sure all of y'all are aware of that right now as
Yeah.
you try to craft who you want to move forward as. Um, Again, right now, like, have fun with it. I've changed my personal branding 3 times in 14 years. I feel like the one that I'm on now is going to stick because I've gotten the most traction with that, and I feel like it would be um, a step backwards, or maybe not good business for me to change it at this point. Do I love the name Stay Gray Penny Boy? No. It's really tough to explain to people. It sounds kind of goofy, but like the one thing I do like about it is that everybody that comes across it, or like, if I meet somebody in real life, they know the name before they know my face.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a good way to look at it.
because like they might be familiar with the work, but like I don't post a lot of pictures of myself. But they know the name, and that name stands out to them for some reason. It probably stands out a lot more than Matt Dawson does.
Yeah.
Or like, God forbid, Matt Dawson Design Co. There's a huge influx of design codes happening right now. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's succinct. It tells what you do, but at the same time, I'm not convinced that it helps people stand out. And
Yeah.
I think that's something that's very important in your personal branding. That, like, you stand out from the crowd. Everybody's a designer nowadays, which is awesome, because like, it's just more great work getting put out in the world. But what that does is it makes it more competitive and challenging to stand out, so
Yeah.
you can't always depend on just your work, because if
Yeah.
it's this amazing work by, Mary Smith, imagine Googling that and trying to like find like this killer illustration by Mary Smith. I feel like there needs to be, some exclusivity to like what you call yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And like, as far as it doesn't have to be a goofy name like mine, but even if it's like an ethos, like you don't have to do everything just under your name. You can be a singular designer and be under a certain name.
Yeah.
Like Nick's lucky. Nick has a cool last name, being Longo. Like Longo Designs, like that's.
I think everyone thinks everybody else's is cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But yeah, like that's kind of always been my thing, is like I wanted my name to stand out. Like I knew I wanted my work to stand out, and I figured if I'm trying hard enough for both of those, it covers more ground than just one of the two.
Yeah. If you were doing one in their shoes, like right now, and you probably weren't going to use a fictitious name or something, you're going to use your Matt Dawson because you want to be Matt Dawson, hireable Matt Dawson, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
what would you go about doing? How would you capture you? Like, I try to give them those tools, like that, what they can pull from that the logo could represent. So when that hiring person sees it, they like, not only is this clean and crisp, but, oh, I remember it because of, X, what would you do in this situation if you were starting now?
Yeah. So if I were starting now, knowing what I know now, is I would try to not employ any trends
Mm-hmm.
that are right now, because you want this to last you for a little bit.
Totally.
So if this font set on Creative Market is super rad and everybody's using it and it's great, that and like that's something that I would have fallen prey to years ago. But like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I want to do that too. But it doesn't help you in the long run. I feel like I would evaluate my style and find something that's synonymous with the kind of work that I'm doing. That way there's a connection from like a hiring manager or creative director that like sees your work, and they see this connection with your mark, your name, however it is you're visualizing yourself. I feel like that helps create a stronger bond between you and whoever you're reaching out to do work with. If it's super polarizing in left field and it doesn't match any of your work, that's, to me personally, that would be something that I would try to rectify.
Yeah.
Hone in on something that's you, inject your personality into it too. Like if you like kayaking, I don't know if you should make your letters out of kayak paddles, but there's personality that can be injected to it, that allows it to be you. And that's one thing that I always struggled, as I tried to think of what other people would want to see, and I felt like I was doing myself a disservice. And once I finally started, I was like, I want this. This is what I want. So just ask yourself what you want, and just do that. And like that sounds easier. That sounds easier said than done. And maybe it sounds like non-advice, but like to me, it comes down to the same principle of, going to an interview dressed up and asking yourself, do you really want to dress that way every day? It's go to the interview dressed for how you want to work, like
put the perception out there first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you saw a lot last year with the students, seeing their portfolios, seeing their resumes. Like, is there anything that just screams student to you? Because like, for me, I want them to look just as good as someone that's 2-3 years into their business and has what screams confidence in a logo and what screams student that you've seen. I think you're right in saying the gimmicky fonts and the trendiness obviously is number one, like out the door.
That's my number one thing whenever it comes to portfolio reviews or critiques. Is that low hanging fruit of capitalizing on something that's popular. To me, that doesn't it shows that you have an eye for what's maybe hot right now.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that, but to me, it doesn't show the strength of like your design by just kind of hanging on to that easily accessible stuff. Attention to detail is always huge. Spacing, grids, guides. Anytime like I open up like a junior designer's work in Illustrator or InDesign, like the first thing I always hit is Command : and see if they have their guides on. And I've gotten to the point where I can tell if like this sub tag isn't centered, and like this is slightly off, and to a client that stuff might not matter. I mean, it matters in the bigger picture, but it might not matter to them because they're just looking at it and they're oohing and ahhing over it. Yeah. But to a person that you're looking to get a job with, those details really do matter. Like your resume, like that shit's got to be like tight and crisp, and it's got all of your paragraph styles and settings have to be on, and those are red flags that I look for. Like, I'll look at that before I look at anybody's work. I know some people just dive straight into the work, but I kind of like to get an idea of who the person is a little bit before looking at their stuff.
Totally. Yeah. It's kind of a quick glance thing to see, are we all in line, right? Like typically that's really it,
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. I want to open it up to you guys. If you guys have any questions specifically on the personal branding before we get into the critique, what do you guys, I know William asked a little bit about selling your services beyond someone who might be on the fence or anything like that. Feel free to answer that now. And then if anybody wants to ask a question on personal branding specifically, we can get into that as well. But particularly, like, when someone's on the fence, how do you get them completely on your side and signed as a client?
I'm kind of brutally honest with my clients, and still to this day, most clients, are teeter on that fence still.
Yeah.
You know, I have some people that obviously will come to me for a certain thing, and like that's just what they want, and they're really easy to deal with, and like that's great. But yeah, a lot of the times, like I'm still kind of dancing for my dinner, so to speak, with, you know, like trying to convince them. But you know, like what I tell them is I just have an honest conversation with them, and I'm like, look, some rabbit hole has led you to me. Obviously there's something about what I'm capable of producing, or the style in which I produce work, um, or something other that has led you here. This is what that costs. You can go get it done for much cheaper. You can go get it done for much more, you know, it can be much more expensive. I mean, like we all know what agencies can charge people.
Yeah.
And I just tell them that. I'm like, you can get it done cheaper. You can get it done for lots more. With me, you're here for a reason. This is what it costs. And
And sometimes
honestly,
that
like
should be enough, right? That should be
that
enough. Yeah.
that approach really does work, though.
Yeah.
Is the thing, you know. And then I'll have people, you know, try to talk me down or this and that. And I've gotten comfortable not really, you know, I try not to scrounge a whole lot anymore
Hmm.
and make huge concessions, because I feel like it devalues myself and kind of like devalues the design as a whole. If you know, if you charge this much for an identity package, and then you know, like you can bend and break and charge this much, you know, that sets a precedent. It's like feeding a stray animal. Like it becomes used to something,
Yeah.
you know. And like that sounds really harsh towards a client, but you know, whenever their next project comes along, it's tough to charge that premium that you usually charge because you've set a precedent.
Yeah.
Um, so, you know, for me, it's taken years of enduring that kind of stuff, and only in recent years have I gotten that way, where I have that honest conversation, and to where I'm just comfortable saying no and passing on something.
Yeah.
And like I think that's perfectly okay. There was a time in my life where I said yes to everything, and it helped me produce a lot of work, but it wasn't healthy.
Yeah. Learning
And
that to say no is one of the best exercises. But you can't do it automatically. You got to get to that point where you know the difference and when it's the right time, you know, and I get what you're saying. Yeah.
yeah,
Um, Raina, I know you mentioned something about being a little bit on the minimalist side for your business card and your resumes. I agree with. I think that's, is that okay? She's asking. I think that's fine as long as, like what Matt was saying. That's the, if you could put the perception out there that you want to look like, you want the if it's being confident, if it's doing all that work, right? Like it's not a right or wrong answer. It's like, is that for you? What do you think, Matt?
yeah. I mean, I think there's nothing wrong with minimalism, and you know, especially in business cards or branding touch points. Obviously, in a resume, you want to at least convey the information that you're trying to convey.
Yeah.
You know, but I think a minimalistic approach is fine.
Yeah.
Um, I like things that are classic and clean. I think that style tends to err on that side.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Also, too, I
and
think don't forget all of these things are communication pieces, and what some designers not being guided in the right direction might do is fill up that with a ton of graphics and stuff that are just so unnecessary. So the minimalist thing in a resume is a great idea. I mean, your branding can be whatever you want it to be, but I think sometimes being crystal clear in the communication of it is far better than trying to fill it with graphics just because you think it might be a little light in content, you know?
yeah, and by all means, don't put graphs of your skills.
Yeah.
Don't tell me that you have a 68% proficiency in
In Adobe
Photoshop
Acrobat.
and a 72 in Illustrator.
Yeah. Get rid of
Uh,
those
yeah,
immediately.
I still run across those every now and then, and
Yeah.
I don't cast judgment. I'll still look at the work,
I know.
but yeah, there are some telltale things that, you know, and I'm sure you guys will learn how to do this in school too,
Yeah.
that you just don't do. But yeah, I think a minimal approach is fine.
Cool. Any recommendations on finding a design system that can be used throughout your personal branding, such as, you know, your palette, your font, the aspects of it, you know, and again, it's almost like creating a brand for any of your clients.
Yeah, it really is. You know, like you are your own your own client whenever it comes to that stuff. Like you write the book. You can give yourself as many walls or as few walls as possible.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I don't have a Stay Gray Ponyboy brand book or anything like that, but you know, I do have certain typefaces that I only use whenever I'm preparing like my pitch deck, or you know, like my site, even though like there's not a ton of typography on it. But yeah, I think defining a system for yourself is as important as, you know, defining one for a client or a
Yeah.
customer. You know, if anything, it shows that you can do that.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't have any kind of anyone dictating that to you. So you know, like you can make that as tight as you possibly can. And you know, that to me is like the beauty of personal branding, is that like if you're not getting these kind of jobs that you want, like you can at least make yours look awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be the first to admit I did it to set boundaries, because like, I think if you have that one brand of your own that you're in charge of, I know my tendencies are to go crazy with it, and then I lose consistency. You know what I mean? Whereas when you do lock it up and you say, I'm only using these fonts, these colors, whatever, it comes off so much stronger to the viewer, because you're limited. You know what I mean? You've set those boundaries and you're not going nuts with it.
Yeah. No,
You know?
I think I think the boundaries are good too, because
Mm-hmm.
they'll help you learn to work within constraints, which you will encounter at some point in
Yeah,
your career.
yeah.
You know,
But I'm envious of those people that can do it and do it well.
yeah,
Their brand looks different. Look at Lincoln Design. They're a perfect example. Like, it has an aesthetic that is always the same, but like they have like what, probably at least 50 versions of their logo that you would recognize a mile away.
oh yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
Yeah,
That's another thing about like injecting like your style into things. You know, like
exactly.
like go back in your work and look for commonalities and things that are constant throughout your work, and that kind of becomes like your style. In my sense, like you look at Lincoln's work, and it's very bold, it's very graphic, and you can spot a Lincoln logo from a mile away, or you can
Yeah,
spot a Lincoln copycat
yeah,
from a mile away. You know, like it's just, you know, it's a very distinct style that like they own. And yeah, I
yeah.
think that's awesome.
I just put their link in the chat, guys, if you didn't hear that. So Lincoln Design Co. Take a look at them. It's a perfect example of everything looking aesthetically from their brand, but it's different in almost every application, which is really something to kind of aspire to. 100%. Last question: do you think it's better to be more general when you're first starting out, or go straight into specializing in a certain type of career with your first few moves?
Um, that's a really tough question for me, honestly, because I don't regret anything along my path, but
Yeah,
I do wish, I feel like I would be further along now if I would have had a better idea then.
yeah.
You know, I went into design wanting to be a jack of all trades. I wanted to do web, and I wanted to do
Mm-hmm.
packaging, and I wanted to do editorial, I wanted to do branding. Um, and like I think there's nothing, you know, there's nothing wrong with those aspirations, but you know, if you're trying to do too much, it it doesn't really, you know, that saying's true, a jack of all trades, master of none. If you spread yourself too thin trying to do all these facets of design, um, you kind of miss out on honing in on what you actually want to do. And like that's a double-edged sword too, because it takes time. You know, at least it did for me. It took a long time to figure out that I want to gravitate towards branding and identity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I've really only spent 5 years in doing that. I wish I would have spent the last 14 years doing that. So it's kind of tough. Like I say, if you know what you want, hell yeah, by all means, go for it. You know, like if you know
Yeah.
that you want to specialize in this, then laser focus on that and crush it. And
Yeah.
you know,
Especially if you know it, because I think a lot of times some students don't have that particular avenue, but they're hoping for one. So I would say your advice is perfect there. If you do have that one that you can identify with, and it's totally what you're thinking of, hit that one 100%. You know,
yeah.
perfect. All right, so we're gonna get into our crit for the rest of the projects. You guys ready to go? Looks like you're all ready. Johnny, give me a sign, please.
Yeah, you got, sorry, I joined late. What's up, guys?
What's up, man? All right.
What's up, dude?
So let's get into these. I'm gonna, let's see. Let me share my screen and we'll go. Whoops. Hold on for a second. Tell me when. Are you seeing it now?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Is that, there we go. Can everybody see that?
Yeah.
Good. Thank you. We get to hear some voices. Okay. All right, William, yours is up first. All right. So I've given Matt an idea of what this project is. Matt, as a quick reminder here, they are producing 3 packaging solutions for brands that do not live and breathe in this particular area. Health and wellness, you name it, anything for the home, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So William, tell us what you did.
Hey.
What's up?
So yeah, honestly, I've been like back and forth with Absolute Splash and what I wanted to be. Hold on, somebody's making noise. Yeah, so as I was saying, I've been going back and forth with Absolute Splash because I want it to be like fun and dynamic, but I didn't know how to go with like more of an illustrative kind of angle because I'm not an illustrator at all.
Yeah.
So instead, what I wanted to do was just like kind of add these like elements that Absolute Splash or Absolute Vodka already has, which is like, you know, they usually go with like art and paint.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I went with this. And then the colors are directly brought in from the citrus or citron,
Cool.
mandarin. Then the middle one is just different colors because the eyeshadow would have different, the eyeshadow palette would have all
cool.
the flavors
Okay.
in there.
Gotcha. And then your die cut is going to be the window into what's behind it, right?
Correct. So that would be more of a vivid yellow, and then the die cut in the middle would be all the 4 colors, and then the other one would be like the vibrant orange or whatever.
Cool. Okay. What do you guys, any comments from you guys, students wise? We liking it?
I like the one in the center.
Yeah.
It's like a mix of various colors.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's too much wording in the paragraphs. Maybe like shorten it. So instead of saying that whole sentence, you can just say like citrus eyeshadow, and then you can write like little other words, but not combine it all into like a paragraph maybe.
Do you agree, William? I think that might be a good solution by just having the name and the flavor be the second thing you see, and then the third thing in the hierarchy might be that one line that describes it a little bit, you know?
Yeah, I think the reason I made it kind of wordy was because their bottle itself is very, very wordy, using a similar script type. But I definitely agree that it is busy.
Yeah. What do you?
But it also,
I think with everything going on in the background, you know, and then having, I think I totally get what you're saying and echoing things that the bottle has, but I feel like with Absolute being like such a recognizable brand in general, that you don't need to tell any more story that it's Absolute brand. What I would like to see more of is the story of like what the product is, you know. I feel like if there were, you know, I don't know where the best placement would be, you know, but if there was something that could more quickly delineate what type of product it is, you know, that would be super helpful. So if it is paring down like that script to say that it's eyeshadow or perfume or nail polish, I think that would be a great way to, you know, tell me what the product is more, other than like, hey, I know this is an absolute product, but I don't know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that'd be a great compromise, because I think from first look, you know it's absolute, right? Like it's saying all of the language it needs to have, you know. Maybe what you were saying, you still feel a little challenged with the artwork in the background. Do you want to try, like, the middle one? I think works great because you've got obviously the combination flavors, but what about a different illustration style for the right and the left one? You know, something a little different.
So something that's not like this brushstroke, you mean?
Yeah, like maybe if you were some way to do a splash, like recreate the splash of that in some kind of yellow form, and then maybe it's more painterly or something, and then the one for on the right, it could be maybe even more photographic, like a liquid image or something. You know what I mean? Just trying to say, like, it would, the fact that it's just a background pattern and it's watercolory is the commonality, but how you change it could be something fun, is all I was saying.
I guess my only fear about that is whether or not it will still feel like a collection.
True.
You know, like if it's a still absolute splash.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to change it, like, from one to the next, but like, how do I make it into a collection if each one has a different paint feel, I guess?
Could be fine as is. I think maybe when you get to the next stage of the application, start seeing how if it still has a good enough variety and it's feeling like the campaign, the set, then you're good. So just something to look for when you're at the next stage, I would say.
Okay.
Is that good? Cool. All right. And then just make sure, are you getting in your, get in like the fluid ounces, anything like that might be in there? And then, like we said, just make sure your hierarchy, we know what the name of the product is, and then there's that little cell of 1 or 2 sentences after.
Okay.
Cool. All right. We good to go? We're good to go. All right. Next one. Okay. Anna, are you with us? There was a chance she might not be on with us, so we'll go through here. So you guys, everybody seeing the Chobani?
Yeah, we can see it.
Cool. Okay, awesome. So I told her we'd just go through it quickly and give her some comments. So she had made some changes over the weekend. It looks really good. What do you guys think of it all being peach, though? I think my recommendation would be, you know, like, call it maybe the fruit collection, and then she does one peach, one like raspberry, and one blueberry, even just for the color variations. Would you guys like to see that?
Yeah, I think that would be great.
You know, just so it's not the same repetitive thing in all three, but she keeps her background, she keeps the Chobani, she keeps the hierarchy and the system, but I think changing it into 3 different fruits would make it look a lot more energetic, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it kind of looks very similar.
Mm-hmm.
But they are really nice, though.
Yeah, this is gonna look really good.
But yeah, sorry, that's my bird.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so maybe some of the things you could keep different could be like maybe the color of the leaf, like the orange.
Yeah.
And the fruits, maybe that could change, and everything else stays the same.
I agree. So just a little more variance. Yeah. What were you gonna say, Matt?
Well, I would like to, you know, see if so like, for me, the most successful one is the conditioner. I feel like everything has like a really nice opportunity to breathe, like placement wise.
Good point.
I'd like to see a more consistent cadence with the way the graphic elements are placed on the other 2 pieces, on the hair serum and the overnight mask, to where illustrations aren't running into copy.
Yep. Good point.
You know, and just kind of keeping like a invisible margin around some of these readable items.
Good. Yeah. Can you all see that? Like, you looking at that conditioner, I think it's a great point. That's the system that's working, that not having the overlap. Everything's got some breathing room, you know, which would be really nice. And then again, if she changes this, then that peach bar at the top would change color with whatever fruit it is for that one. So all of a sudden she's got this 3 similar thing, but then those slight changes and variations make this really more engaging.
Yeah, totally.
Cool. That's a good point.
There's a question in the chat, and
oh yeah,
I kind of want your take on this, Nick.
What
But
is
it's do we need to consider the logo space when adding elements near the logo? And I'm assuming they're referring to like branding guidelines of, you know, like X amount has to be on all sides of this. And how do you approach that with
it's kind of I create what's considered like the bounding box, the thing that is this invisible box that's around your logo. And there's so many different ways you can go about doing it. You can pull an element, you can pull a square from like the square thickness of maybe one of your something from your font or your typography. But I like to make sure that's always there, even sometimes invisibly in my lockup. So when I do bring it into packaging, I'm consistent and nothing like, if you look at the Nourishing Hair Serum, right? The way the flower is going over the C. Exactly. So giving yourself that buffer zone is I am 100% behind that.
Yeah. I'm totally with you on building it into the mark itself. Like that way you have that box where if you have like your smart guides turned on or anything like it, and you drag a text box over,
exactly,
you're gonna see the limitations of, you know.
Yep. Even down below where like, you know, even on the bottom one there where the leaf's hitting overnight, you know, just be conscious of that, where it's hitting peach on the hair serum. Like there's no need for that. You know, sometimes I get the randomness. Like sometimes the hardest thing to do is place stuff randomly, right? Making it look very naturally placed. Yeah. But there is some of those rules you want to make sure apply. So yeah, that's a great point. I'm glad you caught that.
I have a comment.
Yes.
Okay, so since the peaches are sliced, I think it's kind of awkward having the seed included in the slice.
True.
So maybe a way to kind of take that out, because that doesn't make sense to me.
I'll ask her, because I know her and I looked at some of the strategy and some of the case study of the brand when they rebranded it. So I was telling her to pull directly. She was live tracing and redrawing the fruit right from the site. So if they've done it this way, I would say we should stay that way. But it's a great point. I think you're totally right. If she did this by her own choice, I'll follow up with her and see. So that's a great point, because I agree. Everyone has a different idea of what some of these sliced fruit look like. So it might look like cantaloupe without it, but I think she'll be good. Cool. All right. But I love it. It has the exact kind of that oatmeal color in the background is the first thing I think about when I think of like that new Chobani brand. So it looks good. Okay. I'm going to move on. All right. Are you with us, Christine?
Yes.
Okay. For some reason, I can't. Let's see. Can I get this smaller? Oh, there it is. Perfect. I love this, the IKEA brand. This is killer. All right. Tell us a little bit about it.
So I wrote a little description up at the top of what this product is going to be for.
This year?
So yeah, so it's
cool.
A cosmetic line sold within IKEA stores, and it'll be placed in the bath section and also be used as a point of purchase merchandising product.
Great.
Which means it's going to be towards like the end when you're like closer to the line too, for people that impulsively shop. So
nice.
Yeah, so I have a front and back design.
Yeah, that looks great.
So the design has the instruction looking things too.
So Matt, I'm not sure if you're familiar, but she's pulling from the line art drawings that are done in all of like the illustrations.
Oh yeah, I love it.
You know, that you see on the direction sheets and everything, you know?
Yeah. No, half of my office is IKEA, so I'm very familiar with those drawings. And
it's so much that you've given them names. Yeah, this looks really good. I like everything about it. Let's see. So we've got the name of your collection. You've got the one thing I would say is just being more consistent with your description. So shampoo here, and then hydrating face mask and face wash should kind of be all in. Maybe I think the way it works in shampoo is great in your hierarchy.
Right. Okay.
So it's just making sure we see that much easier. I know white on yellow really is tough on this one. So I'd be okay with you changing it to black, but just make sure it's as prominent here.
Okay. Well, the white on the yellow is gonna be like more like metallic foil.
Oh,
yeah. So I was gonna change the
even
texture.
this to white.
I think I might do that too.
Okay.
You
have a strong enough yellow. It's not so pale, but it'll be once. Are you doing dimension on this one?
Yes.
Okay. So again, you'll be able to play with that enough to get the right lighting. So maybe the white still is fully readable, and you won't have a problem. I think that should be fine. Anybody have any comments from you guys? What do you guys think? Any suggestions, compliments? What do you think?
I'm curious on why there's a third color on face wash whenever the other two. I'm curious about that star shape. Like it seems like your graphic elements, like the wavy lines in the shampoo, the face, and the face mask. But then in the face wash, you have two different illustrative elements that are, two different colors. I'm just curious, like the decision behind that.
For this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
okay.
I thought it kind of represented like clean. And I also use that same element within the instructions in the back too. Like once you're all done, it's like sparkly clean type thing.
Oh, here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. I wonder, what do you think, Matt? Like, would it be smart could she bring in something on the other two to mimic that? So it is a little balanced, or what do you think?
Yeah, that's my only question, is like why it's on that one and not the others, and why whenever it is on that one, it's a different color from the person's face, So yeah, I was just curious if like there was any reasoning. I totally understand the clean sparkles now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just wondering why that one has like two different colored elements on it when the others don't.
It works. I like it. That's why I was trying to think if there's some way you can bring in that extra punch of bringing in one other element to the other two. Not only will it balance it out, but it's such a neat little, you're right. It's that idea of being sparkly clean,
Yeah.
I like
that.
Yeah.
I think it would make perfect sense on the other two, since they're all products that,
yeah,
would cause one to sparkle.
Maybe shampoo, you can do bubbles. And then for face mask, you can do like a smear, like, like the, whatever a face mask smear would look like. We all know what that is, but you know what I mean?
Right.
Pretty fun.
Okay.
And I like that you chose milliliters. It's so European. Yeah. That's cool. Cool. And then, so one on the left is a pump. Is that the pump bottle?
Or on the left, it's
or just a cap.
It's just a cap. Yeah.
Cool. And then you're going to do the wood grain there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the far right, the wood grain cap too. So the middle one is going to be a jar, or the foil,
it's like
the pack.
Yeah. So it's like you rip off the top of the.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Do you guys think, being that doesn't have a cap, is there some way, should she try to incorporate the wood, or would she be better leaving it as is, because it's really not a tube or a bottle? What do you guys think?
I wouldn't try to force it if it doesn't serve a proper function. I think you're perfectly okay not using it.
Cool. Okay. And this is great. I don't know if anyone else is doing the back, but again, guys, like you've got all the work done. Like if doing this would be like, Matt, do you agree? Like showing the back side of this for a student would be like such an added value.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because I feel like this is where you can really show a lot more detailed design chops.
Yeah.
And how you lay out this pertinent information and some of this legally required information.
Exactly.
So showing that you can do that well, I think is really important. And for me, it's always kind of a fun. It's one of the more fun parts about packaging is, figuring out what these puzzles are going to look like. There's some weird kind of like, I don't know, some weird kind of joy about like getting this absolutely right. I think you're on a really good path here.
Yeah. Yeah. I know you had mentioned, William, about the barcode. I think I usually make sure it's with a white background just so there's never an issue. But maybe you could do something fun with it that's IKEA-ish. You know, have you seen like the custom UPC codes that some brands are doing where it's got a little fun design feel to it?
UPC codes?
The UPC code, you're underneath on the back, this thing here on the IKEA. Sorry, I'm getting all tech talk here. So one thing I would suggest first is just give yourself a bigger white box around it. I think it looks like you got letters here that are a little bit off. Those, I was trying to zoom in a little bit more, but see those letters down here, right there? They should be down in line. All the numbers should be, I can send you one. I've got 1,000 of these.
Oh, okay.
Just want to make sure you have the right UPC code. But some people there's brands that let's say it's a wheat company, like wheat. What they'll do is they'll extend a few of the lines higher and they'll put leaves on them, like as a cool little custom UPC. As long as you don't break the barcode you have, you can extend a few of them. Maybe you can make it look like a ruler, or you can do dashes, because you think about everything you got to measure for IKEA. Something like that could be kind of fun, but just make sure. One common rule, guys, is always try to get your UPC black on white. It just goes for better readability. And the last thing you want is for our client to have to reprint anything because the UPC code is not being scanned. Okay. But I love that you're throwing it in here. So that looks really cool. Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Good. All right, let's move on here. Joe, we did his yesterday. So Joe has his list of stuff to do, but this is looking cool for Pokemon. In case you guys hadn't seen it yet. Cool. So Joe, you got your list from yesterday? You're good?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, man. Awesome. All right. We went through Jalissa's yesterday for Airbnb Plus. So she's got her notes as well. Are you with us? Might not be. Okay. So she's got her list. All right. Johnny, where's the stuff? Did he bail? I think he bailed. He knew we were coming up on his art. Are you there? Oh, there you are. Do you have any? Do you want to send me something? I can screen share.
It's uploaded to Canvas.
Can you just send it to me? Because for some reason we were trying to I couldn't figure out where the new ones are. But okay, do that and we'll look at Jose's here.
All
right. Jose, are you still with us?
Oh. Longo.
Yeah.
Here.
Jalissa says that she's on the waiting room to hop in.
Oh, let's see. Hold on.
She might be on the other chat.
Oh, here
she might send her the new code.
Got her. Oh, I got her. Okay. We did do hers yesterday though, right? Think so. Let me double check here.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, cool.
It was the Airbnb, right?
Yes, perfect. Okay, Jose.
I'm here.
There you go. All right. Tell us what you did. Red Bull. So, everybody see it?
Yes.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Go for it, man.
So I made a lot of changes from this, like what you guys are seeing at the moment.
Oh, okay.
So I made the purple one, turned it red, and then so when I uploaded this, I had already cut up the whole size because I had already started uploading the stuff into Dimensions.
Okay.
So yeah, I made a few changes in terms of the the colors and stuff like that.
Do you want to send me the new one and we can look at that?
Yeah. Would you like me to put it up on the screen instead, or?
Oh yeah, you want, or just if you want, just email me, and then as soon as we go through everyone's here, I'll go through yours and Johnny's.
All right, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, that works for me. Thank you.
All right. Good. All right.
I think I uploaded mine again too.
You did. Okay. All right. Christina, are you with us?
Yes. Hi.
Hey. It's looking good. Let me see if I can get this. There we go. All right, Jägermeister.
Okay, so
Matt and I are gonna need a set of these when they come out.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so the plan with this is the reason why I did it with a clear. It's clear right now, but the bottle is supposed to be the green bottle that they have.
Great.
So the one on the left is gonna be a room spray.
Cool.
The one in the middle is gonna be like a diffuser, like with the sticks in there.
Great.
And on the right, it's gonna be a candle.
Nice.
So,
okay.
So I wanted to make it really not necessarily minimal, but just minimal in terms of like the color. So it's only gonna be gold all around.
Great. Great. It looks really, really good.
Thank you. And I wanted to incorporate the botanicals that are going to be included in the like formulation.
Great.
So that's why I included like flowers and stuff. So it's kind of girly, which is my taste, but I feel like it could be classy as well.
It feels like a very sophisticated version of the brand, and I think that works 100%. Like,
yeah.
Go ahead, Matt.
I agree with you. Like it, on first glance, floral doesn't seem synonymous with Jägermeister, but these don't look out of place at all. You know, like I think for the type of products that they are, it makes sense. But then also, given how illustrative and detailed the mark is for Jägermeister, like these feel like an extension of that. You know.
Yeah,
so
totally.
Thank you. The only problem
they don't feel out of place, even though I don't think of flowers with Jaeger.
Yeah, I didn't know either, but it says like it's made out of botanicals and herbs, so that's why I got the idea. But the problem that I'm having is kind of differentiating the scents from each other because.
Oh yeah. I see what you're saying, and I think the idea is you want to stick to all gold, right? You don't want to include a different. So my first question was going to be like, so does the first one? It's treated differently with one, you have a border and then you have no botanicals. So is there a reason you did it a little bit foreign to the other two, or what do you think?
Well, originally it had the border because another ones didn't, and the other ones looked really empty. That's why I added the botanicals, but I wanted to include the flowers to the left one, but it didn't like look good.
Yeah.
Even without the border, so.
Like, what if you got rid of the border and you only brought the botanicals in like the top left corner and then like the bottom right corner? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and they just naturally come in very similar to how you have them with there. I think that's the one thing that will help tie them in considerably.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like that might be like, feels like a totally different application with just seeing that border around it.
Right.
You know?
And since they're all going to be gold, should I just make them all the same flavor? I mean, same scent? Or
I think you could do, what do you guys think? I think she could do different and have a different, see how you have the orange blossom illustration over orange blossom?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe what I would do is like have the white rose and jasmine over that and have the bergamot over that.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that could help. And if, let's say you take the flavor and put that in a gold box and reverse it out, that might be a nice way to punch the variety to be a little bit more out there in the open. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
That could work, but it's looking really good. I can't wait to see how the mock-ups are going to look. It's great.
Thank you.
Anybody else or any question that you have, Christina? You feeling confident?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you.
How about the name of the product though? Like the botanical scented candle, oil diffuser, and room spray. What do you guys think? Okay, too small? What do you think? Or do you put it more? I think it might fit better underneath the variety and not so close to the fluid ounces. Like if you paired it with the white rose and jasmine rather than with the 5.6 fluid ounce. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it reads better hierarchically if it's like bergamot and myrtle, botanical scented candle, and then
at the very bottom.
Got it. Okay, yeah.
Cool.
Good point. Thank you.
Good. All right. Let's move on here. All right. We got yours yesterday, right? You're good to go?
Yeah, we're good to go.
All right. Way to go. Okay. Are you with us? I thought I saw you earlier.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Okay. Come a long way here, man. This looks good.
What can I say? I took out from the one in the middle, I took out the images and just did shapes instead because I didn't like the image and I couldn't find any other images that had better quality. And then for the one on the right, I don't know, it's the background doesn't match the other two colors because I want to stay with the light brown with the Jeep.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I should darken it, but if I darken it, then I have to do something to the Jeep side.
Gotcha. I would say my first comments, just overall, I'd be like I think I like the right and the left. I think the middle one with those super dark trees kind of throws it off. And I think
I don't know what to do with like add a lot of detail or not.
I think
anything at all.
I think your Sequoia one is like the one to kind of that, and even the Redwood are the ones to kind of build your model on, right? Those to me have the two stark trees in the middle one just really kind of throw it off. But and what I want you to do is your Jeep Renegade, if that's the name of your collection, that has to be a lockup that's the same on all three of them, right? So how you say Jeep and Renegade collection needs to be, like we were saying earlier, like a logo lockup. You got to have it locked up and done the same way on all three. Okay. Then next would be the lotion, the sunscreen, I'm assuming, and then on the third one you should have like sanitizer or something, right? So get your order in line, and then I think the design part's going to really help. You know what I mean? Matt, anything you want to throw in something?
Yeah, I'm right there with you on establishing a more clear cut like set of standards for, I knew immediately that it was Jeep, but I didn't know if it was Jeep Renegade or just kind of the hierarchy of some of the information as well. I feel like could take a second pass. But yeah, I agree with Nick. Making sure that Jeep Renegade, if that's the name, make sure that like that's the same across the board, and then figure out a good type hierarchy. Similar like we were talking about with the Jaeger. If Sequoia and Yosemite and Redwood are like the varieties of it, then make sure those are represented with what they are like underneath it or above it. Like Sequoia sunscreen lotion, like right now sunscreen lotion is super wide. I don't know if it needs to be that wide. If it's if your hierarchy is Sequoia is like the scent, and then sunscreen lotion being smaller underneath it, just some typographical hierarchy would really help these a lot.
Yeah, I think it's order. That's really what we're trying to do here. So do me a favor and just send me an email, and that way I can remember to send you some like more specific comments. But we can work on this because I think what you've got is cool. I think it's going to start looking really good. One thing too I would say is like you might not even need that. See how you have a black outline on everything?
Yeah.
I think you might find, but taking that off, you got enough contrast with these colors. It's going to really look cool. Okay. So I'll send you some more creative content on that. All right. Cool, man. That's looking good. All right. Okay. I think, are you with us? Because I know you sent me something via email, right?
Yeah, this is just the one that I just included just to show how it's gonna look on the application just when it's applied. But
let's see. I know you sent it earlier. Oh, here we go. Here we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yogurtland. Awesome. Go with it.
Yogurtland. And if you remember, I had unlimited line at the top, but yesterday Nara gave me the idea of just putting a line under, like unlimited line, just to make it different. And then I took your advice on making toppings. So I made the toppings and I distributed it on the background, but I don't know if it's childish now, just like for little kids, or if it's, I don't know. The other options is just other options for background, just another like a wavy shape that could be in the background that will go with the little scoop of yogurt in the corner. And
I think you're right. This is where you as the art director got to now know how to edit, how to finesse this. I love where it came though. It looks really, really good. Matt, you want to take a comment or two? I'm going to turn my lights on. Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you mean with wondering if they would be, if it would be better without all of the toppings, but the one that stands out to me and the one that's the most successful with the toppings is the middle. And again, like we were talking about earlier, it's very difficult to make things look haphazardly placed.
Yeah.
But I think this middle one is like spot on. Like that looks random but intentional.
Yep.
And I feel like if the one on the left and the one on the right had that same feel for the background elements, I would say it's an absolute go to like have those in there. Like I think it's cool. I think it's unexpected, but there's something that feels a little off about the primer macho one, something about that pattern in the background. I feel like if it like just make this center one like your standard for like how those background elements should look, but everything else is cool. Like I think the type looks good. I like where I've never been to a yogurt land. Is their name on the spoons?
Yes.
Okay, that's cool. I think spatially, since you don't have a whole lot that's like vertically centered. I'm seeing like these nice little holes to the bottom right of each piece where you could maybe bring that fluid ounces over there, and it might sit nicer. And like these little, I'm moving my mouse, like you can see where I'm moving my mouse.
You're this guy here. You're saying like you got this nice kind of common space that could work, and you can even do it vertically. You could do it, you can have some fun with it,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally. And here you got it the same. You just move it right over here.
So it's not the animal cookies that's like making it a little bit like a kid thing. So are the animal cookies okay? Should I not use them, or should I choose a different topping?
I wonder if it's the scale, because I think you were right, Matt. The middle one feels good, but I think the scales of everything, I like that you were trying to do things like maybe smaller and bigger to create depth, but that's your smallest piece. So, and you're trying to put these big items in there. Maybe the scale is what's a little off with the animal crackers,
Okay.
I would just say, just to be safe, make this one a little bit bigger so you get a little bit more room and a little bit more air to mess with, because we can make these any size we want, right?
Sure.
So just making it a little bit, and then it'll be a little more comparable to those other sides. And I think you'll find the right, based on what Matt was saying, consistency of your kind of random pattern, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Cool.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. I wonder too, you got a drop shadow. Do you have a drop shadow on the type or not? It looks like it's only on the soft serve, right?
Yeah, it's just on the little scoop.
Okay.
Dollop of
the neat thing are you doing dimension on this one too?
Yes.
Cool. See, maybe adding reflection and metallic to face mask mango, because to help it stand out a little bit more, I wouldn't say, my first instinct was to say add a drop shadow to it, but it could get too busy. See what you could do with the reflection and make it look metallic. That might be a fun way to, mess around with the dimensions file. Okay. Yeah, it's looking good. Anybody else? All good? All right. Where are we? I am missing Zoom and Canvas. Canvas. Here we go. Perfect. Is anybody else freaking out of how many windows they have open when you have a Zoom call? This is crazy. Okay.
I literally close out everything before I start Zoom, just in case I get a screen share.
Exactly. All right. We went over Mustang yesterday. He's come a long way on this one.
Yep. Working on it.
Okay, good.
Minjiros.
All right. Perfect. Are you with us? Is she with us?
She typed yes in the chat.
Oh, there she is. All right. Does she want to talk? You want to tell us about it?
She said no.
Just type.
No. What?
Come on. You got to join us. It's a requirement. There she is. All right. So we looked at it briefly last night, but I love what this is going. This looks really, really cool. Very cool. So quick question, Matt, what do you think? So Dunkin' Donuts, obviously.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it feels super on brand.
Thank you.
The hierarchy is fantastic. Like the way you've got, I don't know, just I'm guessing Coolata is like the umbrella brand. It's Dunkin' Donuts, Coolata, and then the variants of, lip scrub or face gel hand scrub. Yeah, I think it feels super put together. I love how simple everything is. Again, you've got that randomness happening that feels loose but intentional. I like the consistent elements throughout, like the wavy line, like the wavy shape at the bottom, but that you're incorporating different colors for the different products. It's awesome.
Yeah. So two questions. We just talked about random elements hitting the logo. So there's something funny about this one. It almost works with the ice cubes.
Yeah.
Touching the letters.
There is something funny about this
Yeah.
one, and that does work. I don't seem to mind it.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know if it's because of their weight.
Probably.
But yeah, they feel, they feel like they belong. As far as like consistency questions, like, so on this on the cotton candy scrub, I can't zoom in. Are the ice cubes the same color as the bottom shape?
No, so she's got.
Yeah, okay. Okay, gotcha. I don't know if this is something that like you're planning on adding later, but this bottom container will make for a great size area, whenever you have to put your ounces in, or like your net weight or whatever. So like I don't know if you're already planning to use that container, but that's just the only thing that I don't see on here, but it looks like you have a great spot for it when the time comes.
Yeah, I forgot to add that.
So yeah, you have just reversing it out here, and maybe here.
Yeah.
On the yellow, it might be tough reversing out. So maybe black would work for all three, just to be consistent, right? What we mentioned yesterday, I think a few students brought up, was they love the blue ice cubes, right? And then for this, I know it's strawberry kiwi, and you changed it to obviously to green. But on this one being brown, I think it felt like like the brown ice cube felt like questionable. Whereas the blue looks so good, but what do you guys think? Are the ice cubes cool in the other colors? What do you think?
Remember yesterday I said that to me they kind of look like marshmallows. I don't know if that's just maybe me.
I think you're just craving some marshmallows right now, to be honest with you. Marshmallows would be much more like, I feel like they work as ice cubes. It was the color. I think we automatically think of that ice blue as the perfect color for like line art.
I think the blue would work across
both
of the other ones.
Might be because she still got great color going here, here, and here. And then maybe what I would suggest is your strawberry kiwi is the color, cotton candy, vanilla bean is the color of what you're describing. So you can get another pop of color in there, but all your ice cubes, maybe make them blue.
Okay.
Is that cool?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Cool. Oh, you're not done yet? No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
Good job. Good job.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see. All right. Maria, are you with us? Everyone's like, is she with us? Let's see.
Yeah, I'm
there
here.
you are. Okay, perfect. How's it going?
Good.
Good.
How are you?
All right. So, coffee bean. Are you familiar with coffee bean, Matt? You've you've seen it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, any comments, suggestions? What do you guys think? Can you all see it? So, real quick, this one is a bottle.
Yeah.
This one's the jar, and then this one's the tube.
Okay. Yes.
Cool. So,
do you want me to play?
I think so. Yeah. If there's anything you wanna introduce it as, go for it.
Oh well, I just wanted to say that you know how you had advised me to add the burlap.
Yes.
What's it called? Thing.
Yeah, the
design.
texture. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know if that is okay because I tried to do an illustration, but no, it didn't work. So do you think that that's fine?
I like this.
Or should I just like try to like do something else?
I like the swatch you picked of it is fine. I think if you scale it a little bit more, so we really do see the grid and the texture in there, right?
Okay.
So cropping it a little bit more open and a little bit bigger scale, it'd be fine. But I think what I would try to recommend is the application of it, trying to find a common way to add it to all three. Like, so is it vertically? Maybe that would be a nice way. So like, if you look at your left one, the way you've added it vertically here, then maybe you're adding it vertically on this one. And then you could do the same thing here where you add it vertically on your tube, just so you're stylizing what this campaign is going to feel like, right?
Okay.
And then the only other comment I would have is now using cherry blossom, white chocolate, and espresso as your inspiration to get something in there much bigger that makes me see, oh, these are three different varieties. Does that make sense? Like, let's say you're on espresso roast. You took this whole big area here and enlarged the espresso roast illustration. And then you can bring the coffee bean down logo, maybe center here. Then here, you can make that get white chocolate, a beautiful illustration of that, and let that really sing. And then for the cherry blossoms, do the same thing. Get it nice and big, more as a background.
Okay.
Do you see? And that might be a really good way for us to go, I get it. There's three unique things here.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree there that the illustrations could be enlarged. I wonder if they could almost be treated more as like textural elements too, if they were monochromatic and kind of like maybe blending moded onto the background. I personally would like to see the coffee bean and tea leaf branding a little larger, because like I know what it is, but I'm not as familiar with its branding as I am a lot of the other things. And I think if that's, I don't know, I think if the goal is to have it be like recognized as this brand's umbrella products, I think that could benefit from being a little bit larger as well. I would also pay attention to how you're treating your subcopy. The scents, especially, it looks like white chocolate is perhaps like a different weight than espresso roast.
Oh yeah.
And cherry blossom, I think the way you have, if you look at the espresso roast one, I think the way you have foundation, matte, natural beige, I think you've got the start of some really great hierarchy there. I'd like to see that carried over to the powder and the moisturizer as well. Like see that built out a little bit more consistently, where you've got that standard across the board.
Great.
Okay.
Thank
you.
Make sense? Sound good?
Yes, thank you.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well done. All right.
So I had a comment
if I could on
that one.
Yeah, let's go.
I really like the white with the cherry blossom, and it'd be nice to maybe see some color and like some white in the white chocolate, and maybe like even be able to bring some white around the espresso roast.
That's a good point. it's just another way of adding a little commonality. But I like what you were saying too, Matt. If they go monochromatic, but maybe there is that fill of white in there that could be used very similarly on all three.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
Good point.
Got it. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Narek, we went through yours yesterday for everybody who hasn't seen it. What brand is this again? No, I'm just kidding.
What does Matt think?
Yeah, Matt, what did you see what he did here? He added the beard because this is the beard scrub.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's really
we
cool.
gave him a list of stuff, but you want to throw in your 2 cents?
Instantly recognizable. You know, I love this kind of like Romanesque pattern that's at the bottom.
Yeah.
I would love to see a more clever way to incorporate the ounce information versus, you know, like looking like it's overlaid onto it. I don't know. I think there's something you could. I think there's some room there for something cool to happen where that pattern doesn't look, you know, as interrupted.
Yep.
You know, I wonder personally, and like it's been a while since I've seen Little Caesars, so like I don't know if there's some kind of like text that accompanies the mascot where you've got like scrub and clean. I'm guessing, what is it? Pizza, is that their thing? Okay. All right. So yeah, I was just trying to rack my brain to make sure that like that's reminiscent of what the Little Caesars pizza.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you brought up the 16 ounces. I'm glad you brought up the fluid ounces, because I would even say, Narek, compared to what we said last night, just find a way to bring it into the orange maybe and not interrupt I know we were talking about how to fix it like in its current space, but if you can find a spot to put it in the orange, might even be better. Like, and you're not interrupting that really cool trade dress at the bottom, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Especially here, yeah. I think you can get it. Maybe you can go flush left on these two or whatever. But the one thing we had mentioned, Matt, last night was just a little more hierarchy with all this kind of construction here, like making sure things are grouped and kind of combined together a little bit more in order here.
Yeah. I think you've got some. I think you've got some room for improvement there. You know, I think the type could be explored a little bit more instead of being so, you know, just like both sides justified. I wouldn't mind, you know, because like the way you look at Little Caesars and Hot and Ready, like it, you know, it goes in. There's a little bit of space on either side of Hot and Ready. I feel like, if anything, the type of extra most bestest and deep dish cleanser, I feel like that could be a little smaller and a little more interesting as far as like playing with the weights. I don't know if that's a family that has like multiple weights, but just playing with something to where that doesn't look as boxy.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
And even getting it more the letter spacing more tight could help keep it a little bit more uniform and more compartmental, you know? Okay, sweet. I can't wait to see all these mocked up with the next step, man. It's gonna start looking good.
Does it all smell like pizza? I noticed you didn't have scents on there. I hope it all smells like pizza, because that would be awesome.
You could do like, that'd be the special edition version of it. It's all pizza smelling.
my beard almost always smells like pizza, so like, this would just make it more acceptable.
You'll have a reason for it now. All right. Cool. Let me get these guys. Very cool. There we go. Everybody see it all? Is she with us? Yeah. Are you guys all here?
Yes, she's with us.
Oh, cool. Hi, guys. Awesome.
Hi.
We looked at this last night. It really looks good. I think she really kind of captured it nicely here. Let's see. So peanut shampoo, peanut butter lotion, and then pretzel face scrub. Cool. Awesome. Matt, any suggestions?
Again, this is instantly recognizable. I don't know if it's the actual packaging messing with my head or the fact that it's M&Ms, but it looks like candy packaging.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about my design. I think it might look boring. I'm concerned about that. What do you think?
I think there again, and this seems to be a bit of a kind of common theme is the type that you're employing with these brands. The like peanut butter lotion, nourishing for all skin types. I feel like there's some visual interest that could still be had there. And I don't know if it's the center justification of it. You've got it tucked up into these corners of each piece. So I'd almost like to see what that looked like if it were right justified instead of centered in an off-center space on the composition.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I think there's some room for improvement on that type area for sure. On all three pieces.
Yeah.
I like that you're incorporating the characters as a pattern. I think that's smart. I like that it echoes the color, like the large color block. What is the circular piece here?
That's the top of her lid, correct?
Okay, it's the top of the lid.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But I agree. Did she get that? It was the idea that Matt's suggestion was flush right all of her description text. And then that way I think it helps keep it more in order, because you're right, it's a centered copy that's off-centered already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to her? Okay, good. Cool. The other thing we've run into this.
I think it would play a little bit more naturally.
The one thing we always run into is when you have a yellow background, you have to change the colors. Like, I love the way her white looks on the red and the blue, but see, like, and I know that's yellow, that's right from their brand. So I'll be okay with that one turning to the black, the peanut shampoo. But to Matt's point, if the hierarchy and the way it's changed is flush right, I think all of a sudden now we're going to see it really, that's like the finishing touch, and they'll have a really good consistency throughout all three.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid that if she thinks it looks a little boring, I think when these are wrapped and we see them with their highlights and their shadows, this is really going to look really, really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions?
Nope, that was it. Perfect. Thank you.
Perfect. All right. Let's see what we got here. All right, Anthony, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. All right.
So I just realized that the sunscreen label on the left, it's actually supposed to say sun sauce, not sauce.
Okay.
So I'm gonna fix that. Yeah.
No worries.
But the other thing that I wanted to mention was where the see-through area is, where you can see the interior product on all the labels.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna just leave it more as a color block and not actually present it as being see-through, since I think Jose pointed out to me a few weeks ago in class that it would be kind of odd to have a sauce colored sunscreen since they're typically, white.
Yeah.
So I did try to make the sauce area white for the sunscreen, but I didn't really like the way it looked. So I decided to just keep them like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think that's a great point. Good one, Jose. I would, but then it's like, I wonder too if this could be used in now that you have that space kind of given back to you, is there something creative or fun you can put in here?
Yeah.
Let's see. Matt, any suggestions?
So are we talking about this, like the sort of zigzag shape in the middle?
Right. Yeah. He was going to allow that to be like a clear zone where the sauce would show through.
And now you're not wanting to do that. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. I'm thinking
Okay.
I'm not going to as of now. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I wonder if and I think that would probably be kind of weird, and like once the quantity gets low inside, and it's just like
that's
seeing
true.
through. Unless you had something cool printed on the inside, like like a lot of liquor bottles do. But I don't think that's probably the case for stuff like this. But yeah, I think something cool that could go into that area is I haven't eaten a Taco Bell in forever. But like, don't their packets always have some kind of like cutesy or like funny, like tongue-in-cheek kind of saying?
Yeah, they do. I did see that. Yeah.
I wonder if, like that space could be used for something like that goes along with like what the product is going to do. If it's a moisturizer, if there's like something clever and funny and unique to moisturizer that could be said there, and so on for cleanser and sunscreen. Just to fill that space. I think the hierarchy of everything else looks really great. I like the way you've got the I keep wanting to say flavor because I'm thinking sauce, but the way you've got the information at the bottom looks really smart and clean. But yeah, I wonder what could be done with that center area.
You know what I would say to maybe help that? Now that you're not doing that, the zigzag is so important because we all think of the packet, right?
Yeah.
What I would suggest is, what if at the very top up here, you did the triangles like this, the zigzag, and it was white. So it looks like the top of the packet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then it'll clear, you don't have to, you can do anything you want here based on Matt's suggestions. And you don't have to worry about filling like that space or this zigzag. You might even do the zigzag at the bottom too, and then you have the packet just as
like the top and bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Because we think of that immediately when you see that. Did we ever look at? I think they did when they did that hotel. They made the pillows look like the packets, right?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, when I was researching.
Cool. So yeah, I mean, like that will just throw it over the top. And I love Matt's idea by being a little more cheeky, seeing what else they have said in copy. Man, you throw something like that in there, and I think it'll be a slam dunk.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
Man. Looks really, really good. All right. Any other questions, or you feel you're good?
I think I'm good for right now.
All
yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Let's go here. All right. So we went through yours last night. You feeling good? Are you with us? Yeah.
Yeah. But if anybody else has some recommendations.
Cool. Yeah. So can everybody see that for C's Candy? So we went through we got a good variety of things, especially influenced by what Josh had showed us the other night with one of his keto brands and the idea of like doing more of a floating pattern of some of the candies throughout each one. That was kind of a cool suggestion. Anybody else want to chime in?
I have something.
Yeah.
So since she has chocolates on each of them, it would be cool if she put a chocolate in the mouth for the lip scrub. So it's just holding the chocolate in the mouth. It's just the mouth.
That's a cool idea.
Okay.
So it can be consistent.
Yep. I like that idea. That's cool. Are you hanging out?
How do y'all not stay hungry?
Look at the house that Nars got back there. That's crazy.
Maybe put the marshmallow in the mouth since it's honey marshmallow.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. There you go.
So should I bring up the lips a little bigger and then?
And just have one.
Yeah.
One mushroom. Yeah. Sorry, mushroom. One marshmallow. Oh, it's late. That's a cool idea. I like that. I do. Is that, is the Scotch Kiss, is that a particular candy of theirs?
It's a chocolate, yeah. But okay. I like it as a lip scrub. Just
yeah. Gotcha. So I'm assuming like maybe to be consistent, you showing the product that it's inspired by if you're doing it on two, I'd say the third might need to have it in there. And then you can keep one of the marshmallows as a little finishing touch or something.
Okay.
That could work. Cool. But again, like I can't wait to see how these colors are totally in line with what that nostalgic kind of old vibe that C's is. So it's going to look really good.
Thank you.
Cool. All righty. See what else we got here. We got a few more. All right. We went through yours last night. You feeling confident?
Oh, I actually, it's okay. Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, you feel good?
I reposted it. I resubmitted it, but it's okay. You don't need to look
Oh,
at
okay. I'll see if I can figure out how to find those. I'm still Canvas novice.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Blanca, are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, all right, cool. Perfect. Can everybody see?
Oh, it's so horrible quality. I'm sorry. I have JPEG.
Let's look at it really closely. No, I'm just
No.
She's like, don't expand it.
Notice until after I was like looking at it, I'm like, oh, he saved it as a JPEG. Worst mistake ever.
All right. Tell us about it, especially Matt. Have you seen this brand? Are you familiar?
Yeah. I've seen
Okay.
it. Mm-hmm.
Just want to make sure. Okay. All right.
So yeah, it's a Mexican beverage, kind of like the Mexican Fanta.
Mm-hmm.
Very fruit and infused. So I wanted to do the lemon lime flavor, the strawberry, and the mandarin. I think I submitted two because the other one I know I put the banner in there.
Let's see.
Yeah,
Oh,
so if you see.
Okay. Let's see. I'm only getting one. I'll have to look. Oh, here. There it is. There it is.
Yeah, there.
Okay. Oh yeah. So this one has the difference here.
Yeah. So essentially, the whole packaging is that banner in Spanish. It's called papel picado, which is kind of like poked paper. It's like a very thin paper.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to base my whole design off of that. I'm not sure if I'm doing the Latino community justice. But I don't know. I feel like I need direction, and it's so hard because Jarritos doesn't really have like a brand that I could hop off.
Yeah.
It's only like the logo that's recognizable, and like the bottle. But other than that, I feel like you know where it's at when you go and get tacos in the street or there's like a fiesta.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I don't know.
Yeah. My first instinct is this is a nice touch because it's in the color palette. And if it was added to like each one in a unique way, like I think on this one, this is the top of your box, right?
No, so that's an eyeshadow palette. So it's supposed to be the whole like palette itself, like a square palette.
Yes. So one thing I was saying, like if that is your space here, making this whole orange section smaller so you get a little negative space like you have here. Mm-hmm. So you get this like eggshell color, right? Uh-huh. So imagine if your orange block gets smaller, then you can incorporate these banners like maybe in just one color, one corner. You see what I mean? So do you guys agree? Like when I see this, it's nice, and I think it's great to see the three colors. But when you see those flags in the other colors, it adds a really nice, like festive. It describes what you described to us. Yeah. To me, that might be nice.
I was trying to like find other fonts because, like the Fruta Fresca font, mm-hmm. I like it. I don't know if I'm convinced with it yet. I put a serif type, but I don't know if I'm like super digging it. I tried a sans serif. I tried like a different type of cursive, but because the Fruta Fresca font is kind of like, very decorative, I didn't know if it would be able to be paired up with like another cursive type. So I don't know if you guys have any recommendations. What would probably be the best matching font for it?
You have with you the master of combining typefaces, Mr. Dawson. So Mr. Dawson, I'll let you go.
Yeah, I think, I think as far as the type goes, it feels a little off brand to me. Mm-hmm. There's like a high end feel to it. That I just think comes with some of the character embellishments on, like, especially the F's, with like the swashes, and just some of the thinner parts of these character forms, to where it feels kind of like a high end product. And that is a serif typeface. So like matching it with another serif, I don't think is the most advisable thing. I would pair it with something that contrasts versus competes, or feels, you know, like a little too close, you know. So like I think if you did want to continue on with this Fruta Fresca type, you know, pairing it with a sans serif would be advisable. Just looking at their website, like their website is awesome.
I know,
I don't
they
know.
have so like new effects.
Yeah, it's so cool. You know, so they've got some interesting type on here that I feel like could be carried over into this.
Oh, good.
And
Okay.
it would feel much more on brand. I think one of the lower hanging fruits to explore with the type for this would be the type that's on the bottles themselves, that, you know, that has the flavor. You know, all of their flavors are white type with a stroke around it. And it's like a really bold, if not a black typeface, in terms of weight. And then they've got their, you know, natural flavor soda with real sugar and, you know, a solid sans serif underneath it. I feel like that's a really great place to start for some hierarchy that feels synonymous with the brand. But also, you know, just looking at that site and looking what they're doing with their identity right now, it looks like they're doing some really cool stuff that I could see carried over into these labels. But yeah, I would definitely take another look at that type and see if there's a way you could tighten it up a little more closely with the actual brand.
Yeah, for sure. I'll look into.
Good point. I love that. All right, cool. You feel good?
Yeah, thank you. That's all I needed to write.
Good. Awesome. All right. Angry Orchard. We're all getting thirsty and hungry after this.
Hey guys.
Hey, how's it going?
It's okay.
Okay.
So obviously it looks like pretty like messy and stuff right now, but the stuff on the the branch is supposed to kind of peek around the sides of the bottle, so it wouldn't be like all crazy like that. But
and are these going on glass, plastic? What's the?
It would be like a plastic bottle. So the first one, the rosé melon, would be like the like a rounded spray bottle.
Okay.
The one in the middle, jelly cleanser, would be like the kind of triangle as like squeeze bottle.
Yes.
And then the moisturizer would be like a screw off top.
And then your bottles and your things, are they white?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So I wonder too, like if this was on glass, like kind of like the Jägermeister one, if it was on glass, if it was on something where I felt like it was filled with some stuff, like that would be, I feel it'd be on brand, but I think with the white, I wonder, is that on brand with them? What do you think?
Yeah, I was thinking, cause I was trying to do something like more like cleaner.
Sure.
Since it was like a beauty like brand, I was trying to think minimal. But
true.
Yeah, the aspects that kept of their brand would be like the branches, obviously the type, the apples, and
gotcha,
stuff like that.
I wonder
and the color
too,
schemes as well.
Yeah, I know how you're doing the color blocking on the bottom. So if white is your idea to experiment, I would try to get that color block a little bit bigger and bolder to help give some variety to this. So all of a sudden I look and I go, I see.
The tops, but the tops would have been like, so like you see that the color block of the strip around.
Yeah.
So that's just like, it'll just be like that block, and then it'll be like a little bit of white, and then the top will be that same color.
Gotcha. I wonder, like, just trying to think, there's got to, I like the idea of them peaking and everything, but I wonder if the overall background was a little more organic, a little more, what are some words that describe their brand DNA? You know, it's like, it's very rough cut and wood cut and illustrative, right?
Yeah.
What do you think, Matt? Any suggestions to get it a little more onto brand?
Yeah, I feel like the white definitely feels a little off. I think the branches too feel a little misplaced. And again, it's one of those things we've talked about on a handful of other projects. It's tough to randomly and intentionally place these elements and make them look right. But one thing I do like about Angry Orchard stuff is like how well their organic elements like frame their word mark.
Yeah.
You know, like if you look at like a 6-pack and, you know, like the trees are curving around it, and I feel like some kind of approach like that would maybe be a bit more beneficial to
Yeah, my other sketches were more like illustrative.
yeah. So and I think that's like Nick said, that's a big part of their brand. You know, but I think the background being white is definitely like my biggest kind of like disconnect. But you know, I think a lowered opacity illustration in the background, coupled with, you know, like some you know, some more intentionally placed branch elements would look really cool.
Yeah.
They've also got these containers that they use, like these kind of ribbon sort of containers that they use for like their flavors.
Oh yeah.
That I feel could be brought into this for either, you know, for either your varieties here, or perhaps like your amounts down at the bottom. And the way they use those ribbons is, you know, really smart. Like I'm looking at one right now. It's, you know, it's green apple, and then it's got like the quantity, like the measurement underneath it, and it works really well. I think you could bring that in here, and it would help make things feel a little more on brand as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, just maybe, I like that you've incorporated some extra type there, but like pull back a little bit on the paragraph, like, and then center, like looking at pear cranberry, I would bring pear cranberry down a bit so it's on its own, like floating. So that'd be, and then what are you going to give what's the collection name for yours?
It was collection names I had in mind was like the cider house collection, or like the first take, because they also did unfiltered, but I see that I know NARS are using unfiltered, so I X that one out. But the first take in the cider house collection was like my top 2.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna find a few good examples to send you. I know I could think of some brands on top of my head that have this. They can successfully have the same kind of DNA and like everything that Matt was kind of mentioning. Just to give you a little bit more, like I'd love to see this one really come to life. I think a few people are talking about the trees as well. Like maybe on this one, it shouldn't be so random. It should be like you're in the lane of an orchard, and they're naturally coming in on the left and the right as they would be if they were like the trees, you know what I mean? Kind of all in this, growing in the same direction. If that makes sense, you know, rather than randomly placed, if that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And I'll find some good stuff there to inspire you. Let's see how many more. I think how are we doing on time here? Are you good on time, Matt? I think we've got just a few more.
Yeah, that's fine.
You good? All right. So we went through this last night. We got some good comments there. And I know we have 2 more in email. And we went through Adobe. Totally. Okay, cool. So Red Bull. Okay. Are you still with us, Jose?
I'm here.
All right, cool, man.
I just have my mic off. Yeah.
No worries. Okay. Perfect. Oh, so you got some vivid colors in here, man.
They look a little brighter on your screen than mine.
Okay. Are you pulling right from like the guidelines of theirs, like the red?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Perfect. So your collection name is
I just call it the Energizing Collection, but they like kind of, it's on this one as well, so I might change it.
Well, so you've got Energizing, Awakening, and Electrifying, right?
Yeah, but then I made the collection Energizing, so I might have to switch like that. I might have to scrap it.
Well, I think what I kind of like is you've got 3 very cool adjectives like to describe these, which is fine. What if you what if you called it the energy collection? Then you can leave those as is. Energy is what you think of, energy drink, or the Wings collection or whatever you want, anything that's related to the brand might be really, really cool. But then that allows you to keep those verbs with face wash, eye wash, hair gel.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Just as a thought. Let's see. And then what else? How are you feeling on it?
I feel like I still need to make more changes. But,
okay.
I mean, other than that, yeah, like the white part also, it's gonna, and the bull and the Red Bull logo, they're all gonna be like metallic.
Okay.
Once I drop them into, so I follow what you told me to do in terms of the metallic part and
cool.
in dimensions.
Okay.
So I'll be doing that.
Anybody want to? I see a lot of comments going. Anybody want to chime in?
I'm trying to read these.
Because I'm happy with it. I think it just needs a few, like the Red Bull on the face wash is way too smashed in the corner, right? And maybe even in the eye cream. Give it a little more pump. The way you have it on the red one, nice. You got a good margin. Everything's good. So like I would try to do the same with those. And if it means making the bull a little smaller, that's okay. That's okay.
I could do that.
But anybody want to chime in with some of your notes that you guys were talking about?
I said that for the blue bar that has the face wash, eye cream, hair gel, instead of making it all blue, just use the deeper color of each individual product color. So
nice
like a
choice.
deeper blue for face wash. And then I said that you could definitely utilize the negative space on the blue and green product on the right.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's where you put the information instead of putting it on the top or something.
Mm-hmm. I like that you have the negative space here. Again, get these things out from the corner, right?
Okay, push them more out.
Yeah, don't have them so snug right there. And then on this as well. But, it's very minimal. And I think my first instinct would be like, what can you add to it? But I don't know, Matt, any suggestions?
I kind of like the minimal approach. Honestly, I think the bottom left, the electrifying hair gel, is definitely the most successful in terms of like its composition. I know, I know they're doing some things on their other cans, like where they have that outline type. I think the type could be revisited a little bit to where, because right now electrifying to me, like something about it feels display-y. And I feel like that kind of competes with the word mark of Red Bull, like I feel like you've got like this slightly like display feeling type, and then like right underneath it, like you've got like their logo type. So I would go back to their packaging and look at how they handle some of their larger pieces of type on like some of their like green edition cans, orange edition, stuff like that, and try to find some echoes from there that you can incorporate into this. But I mean, I think your composition is cool. Like I like the consistency between like the white space on each piece. Like Nick said, go in and like tighten up your margins, make sure you got like a healthy margin around the logo, like
and like
all edges.
Even things here, justifying, lining up things here, and then maybe you just find those common spaces to line things up that you do on all 3.
Okay.
Cool.
We'll do.
All right. Feel good?
And and for Monza, I know you said to make like the bull tougher, but I don't want to like go away too much from the branding guidelines that Red Bull already uses. Like this is like the bull they use on all their cans, so I just wanted to keep it like
And you're gonna explore doing metallic or something fun with that, right?
Yeah, correct. So the bull, the Red Bull logo, and this white part on all 3 bottles is gonna be metallic once dropped into dimensions.
Cool.
And will that be like the straight up like chrome metallic like they do on their cans?
Well, I'm messing with it because I have to mess with the what was this thing called?
The metallic slide.
Yeah. It's called like you have to mess with the like the what to call it, like the roughness, the opacity, like the metallic part. I kind of like don't know how to use dimensions that well, but yeah, I'm messing
what I
with
found works if you give that a light gray, like maybe 10% black. When you bring it into dimension and slide over that metallic thing, that's where you'll get a lot more shimmer. So give it a shot. Maybe even a gradient in there will even add to it considerably. So give it a shot. Okay?
For sure. I'll be sending you some stuff then. So
you
better. Can give me some feedback. Perfect.
All right.
Okay.
Good, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. It's not that bright, okay? It's not that bright. I don't know why it came out that bright. I'm sorry.
All right. Let's get Jacobs here. Hold on. Cool. Okay. Jacob, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Sweet. Okay. So what do we got? Is this
so oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
So yeah, I have the BB cream, like a sunscreen, and then like a palette.
Okay, cool. Oh, this is the palette. That's the box you're gonna do. Okay.
Some other people have done.
Okay, gotcha. Perfect. Let's see. So you got a little. It's hard to see, but there's like a little pattern in there. If you guys can see it, there we go. I don't know. It's like I feel like I'm not. I don't know if it's feeling as Lego as I remember where we were last a week or two ago. What do you? I know you're trying something different, but what do you think?
Yeah, I wanted it to be more elevated, like looking and feel to it. And with the different colors, I wanted to stick to their color thing, but add a little bit to it. So the color of their skin tone would work with the thing, because Legos can be any color.
Yeah. Do they have? I mean, are these official Lego colors? Like these?
The bottom ones are the orange, the bottom yellow, and then the red, yellow, green, and blue. Those are all the ones that they have.
Yeah.
The color guidelines that I chose, but the other ones are not.
Yeah, I don't know. This is what I think of when I think of Lego, because of obviously it's their logo, it's their brand colors. And then when I see this, it doesn't feel like it. And I think too, just being consistent with the outlining them or not. Like I wonder too, like by outlining them in this heavy dark and then not here, like, I don't know. Let's see. Trying to think what kind of constructive kind of direction I can give you. Anybody want to chime in?
I feel like Lego has such a rich color palette that isn't being utilized in this, you know, like I love the idea of that pattern, you know, but like I wonder where that could, I wonder if like that's the best use of it, as far as, you know, trying to incorporate it as, you know, the background texture of like this very light, you know, box. I don't know, like when you go down a toy aisle and like you see like those super bright yellow Lego boxes, or, you know, like the higher end, like the architecture series, like the boxes are black, you know, like if you're going for an elevated thing. I think Lego has already established some visual language that speaks to that, that, you know, you could maybe go back and take a look at and see what they're doing in those instances that's successful and that feels very Lego, and try to apply it to this, you know, like just like big bold blocks of color, you know, the creative collection type, you know, I'm not sure where that's coming from, but it doesn't feel like something that would go with like the Lego word mark. I think they use something like really simple for like their number of pieces and like the names of like their things. So like I would go look at that for like inspiration on like how like you want to display, you know, this information. Like just check out the roadmap that they've already kind of established and see what you can pull from that to bring into here. It could be
I like your idea of the architectural series, because if you really want to do the higher end, like looking at how they've done it with that, like you bring up a great point, Matt. They use a lot of black. I think like all the sides of the black are the boxes are pure black. So I wonder, look at that and see if that could, and I think they always use like an upper and lowercase, right?
Yeah. I think they're using like some kind of Helvetic or like something
very
like
Swiss. It's very Swiss.
Yeah, something very, very Swiss. And Nick's right. Yeah, like they are using a upper and lowercase.
Yeah.
Um,
who has a comment? Does somebody have a comment? Chime on in.
I was trying to say the pattern that he has in the back, the Legos, it would be cool if some of them had color and it popped out, especially for the eyeshadow palette, because again, an avid eyeshadow palette user. I like seeing a lot of color in my eyeshadow palette, just like that fun thing that you have, especially for Lego, it'd be fun to just have that Lego feel, maybe have that Lego texture on it. I don't know if it's like too much.
Yeah. Like I get what you're saying on the right. If that was maybe the back or an unimportant side of the thing, you could randomly colorize some of those. But what I would suggest on the tube here maybe is not to have that, because what happens is the perspective of this in that 3/4 view, and then your flat ones over them get a little confusing.
Okay.
You see what I mean? Like, I might try to get that pattern off the front, look at the language that Matt was saying that they already established, and finding it. Like this could be really minimal and still so impactful and so well done. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't have the texture before in the background, but like I said, it felt like there wasn't enough. Like it was just the blocks and then the text.
Yeah.
So maybe taking a step back and
but look at like this. I mean, right here, you crop this as like your bottle, right? And with those random colors, and we know they're Legos. Like that's 10 times more playful and identifiable from far away. So like maybe the idea is that you can stick to something very simple like this as the structure, and this is where the main name goes. Maybe this is where Lego goes. This is where your description goes, and you're just doing this. Like if you're gonna go modern. Look at MAC Cosmetics and those other ones that are doing things so minimal, but still like they're so rich in design. You know, that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool. And if I find any examples, I'll send them your way. Did we get everybody's? Was there Johnny? Are you still with us?
I'm still here. Yeah.
Oh, here you go. Is this yours here? Gotcha. All right. Here we go. Move this over. All right. Oh, dude, yeah, looking good. Okay. So you've got, oh, cool. So you're bringing in the camera in. I see what you're doing. That's your bleed, right? Here?
Yes, correct.
Cool. So what do you got? Deodorant, face wash, pomade, right?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Do they have a secondary font that they use, like to use for something here instead of this where you have like face wash and deodorant?
I would have to look into that,
because I think that's the only first thing off the bat. I'm like, I love the texture. I love the almost like the control drawings of the camera. That looks good. Yep. I'm reading comments, but I think it's just this font. What do you think, man?
I love like the initial look of it. I like the grip texture. I think that illustration's super dope. I would love to see that as like a metallic over that black. Like I feel like on an actual package, like that metallic like camera illustration would look really rad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with Nick in that like that type feels like.
What if he does this? Look at, I mean, this like all caps, like, you know, serif font here in italic.
Yeah.
I mean, that could look, and then you stack it a little bit. So it's like face wash, whatever, or, you know, gosh, I think this has a very retro vintage feel similar to the brand, you know? See, you had it right there.
I use that typeface a lot. It's a basketball, so.
Yeah. I've seen it before. No, I'm just kidding. But you see what I mean? Like, I think that's the only thing you got to connect to the nostalgic vibe of this brand. Get it in here. Oh man, that will look Good. That would look really good. So just make sure. So, and then again, even with Pioneer Collection, like make sure that is in line with whatever you do here. And I wonder too, how are you guys liking the size of the Leica logo?
I feel like it could be a little more prominent.
Just a bit, right?
Yeah. I mean, just a bit, because it is a red circle, you know, so like it's going to be a fine line between being too big and just right.
Yeah.
But I do feel right now that it's a little undersized.
Cool. Yep. And this is the side of your jar, right, Johnny?
Yes.
So again, like get this Pioneer Collection somewhere more. It's okay if I think it'd be okay if it goes over you don't have to pocket it in like these little negative spaces. Just make sure if it's going to be on the illustration or if you're giving it this unique gray area to put it, just be consistent with how it's
applied. I put on the top of the cap.
Oh, here?
So you see how it's consistent on the deodorant and on the face wash on the top
of
the pomade.
Right here.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay,
that's where
gotcha.
I try to keep that consistency, but I do get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see how you would, like, if you had the actual item with you,
okay,
kind of look at the top. I don't know. But yeah, I do get what you're saying on the slide as well.
Okay. And then too, when you do the pomade one, you might find when you bring this over to the jar that your texturize here might just fall to the wayside because of the wrap of the curve.
Where exactly? I'm sorry.
This here, your texturized thing.
I think I have the screens on. All right.
This part here, right? On your jar. I might bring this over to at least maybe here, because when you place it on the circular, the circular cylinder, there's a chance that might fall to the wayside on the back side of your jar.
Okay.
When you're doing the mock. So I just want to make sure you get a little bit of that showing when you do that one. Cool?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it for that. Thanks for joining us too, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, Nick.
Can I say one more thing?
Of course. I keep coming.
Okay, so your top of your thing here, I wonder if, since their logo is so recognized and as that solid circle with it centered perfectly, I almost feel like taking this Pioneer Collection off the top and centering this so you're not disrupting the logo. Do you see what I mean?
I had it like that to begin with, but I wanted to incorporate that Pioneer Collection somewhere.
Get it on the side of the jar.
Okay,
yeah.
perfect.
Because I don't want you to disrupt this perfect, like that's what we know of them, right? It's like it's always centered, it's always in that circle, nothing distracts it. So that would be it. Definitely. Very cool.
Thanks, Nick.
Nice. Did we get everybody's?
Nick, can you go over mine really quick?
Yeah. Yeah. Where
Gotta catch them all.
Oh, Pokemon in town. There we go. But is this a new one or?
Oh, I actually resubmitted it and I also emailed you a version.
Oh, let's get the one from here. Okay. When did you? Oh, here it is. All right, cool. Okay. There we go. Okay. Cool. So you got the new you got the circles in there here, right?
Yeah.
My only concern would be this thing. I like that you're trying to add something to the collection name, but I wonder if the Pokemon logo on that yellow circle kind of lessens the logo. It's like yellow on yellow. You see what I mean?
Oh, I see.
Here. I think you could just drop the yellow circle and make the I Choose You collection a little more smaller and Pokemon a little bigger. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the attempt. That's very cool. And then spacing these out a little bit. I think these are real tight. See how you got this here so tight to sunscreen here too?
Yeah.
Like you got plenty of room, man. Spread it out. Get it to be a little bit. But Matt, any comments? First time seeing this?
Can you go back to the previous one real quick?
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, I almost feel that I like the way Pokemon is visualized on these a little better personally.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do agree that, you know, there should be some rethinking of the I choose you portion of it. But you know, I feel like the larger Pokemon on like these big blocks of color just like has like a little bit more presence than it does on the newer versions. Like I would also, you know, again, to echo what Nick said about the type, I would go in and make some consistencies with the way you're treating the information, and also the way you're treating these black and white circles right here. I would go in and make sure that all of that is consistent and coming from the same place. Right. You know, it looks like there's it looks like there's a bit of inconsistency with, you know, like centering and spacing. That's one thing just about Pokemon is that everything's like they're machines. You know, the little balls are like so precise. You know, so I feel like that could look really sharp once it's tightened up. But yeah, I would try to figure out a different way to, you know, like maybe if Pokemon's bigger and like this ribbon, if you do want to have this ribbon, maybe it goes slightly over the black and white circles, you know?
I see.
It's where like that there's some dimensionality because like that ribbon's in front of those or something. But yeah, I think you need to mix them.
Yeah, this has such a better feel here. The way it contrasts against the color it's behind, it looks great. And then just getting that banner in somewhere a little bit more sub would be great.
What if you had the I choose you kind of like arced under the Pokemon word maybe? Like kind of go with it?
Oh, like, yeah, this way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got a natural arc on the bottom of Pokemon, right? I like that. You're right, because you're making a uneven like negative space underneath it right here.
Yeah.
So if you just curve that and make the banner just go nice curve or arc, that'd be a nice one. And then it'll match with the circle below it, the black circle below it. So you got a nice kind of common arc going there.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right. We get them all? Got to get them all? I still got it. All right. How are we feeling? Everybody good? I see some clapping. Nice. Awesome. Matt, thank you so much, dude, for coming and joining us.
Yeah, absolutely, man. This is fun.
Give him a round of applause, guys. That was great, dude. Dude, we got him for 2.5 hours. Look at that. Now he's gonna sleep really good tonight.
I'm never gonna do this again.
What is Johnny? Don't say that. We're about to invite him to portfolio review. Come on,
Matt. Stay strong, bro. We need you, man.
Stay strong.